What is up, everyone? I am very excited to bring you 5 cryptocurrencies that I think look extremely interesting. 5 cryptos that I think you can still be early on that look very interesting as potential swing trades, or even for a few of these long-term investments. Now, I know you see the tickers here, but don't just go FOMOing into these because there's some very important contingencies and some caveats that we need to hash out in order for the opportunity presented in these coins to truly manifest. So in this video, I'm going to run through some brief technical analysis with all these cryptocurrencies and talk about what I see happening with each, both long-term and short-term, and the tremendous potential opportunity I see in these coins. So if you'd like the sound of that, please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that bell icon to be notified of new uploads. So guys, with a lot of coins having pumped recently, I kind of want to bring you guys 5 coins that I think you can still be early on and that look, I think still could potentially have a lot of upside potential if a few things happen. So let's start off by looking at Daya, one of the smallest decentralized oracles by market cap. I hope we have a bunch of alerts that I hope they don't keep going up. But bottom line here is, guys, Daya really seems like people left it for dead. You know, it reached $4 or $5, I think, on some exchanges, and it's absolutely been crashing, hitting $1 even below. And very interestingly, I think it could potentially be forming something like a cup and handle. If Daya can get above and hold above $2, then and only then, Daya looks extremely interesting for myself as either a swing or even a longer term hold, in my opinion. Because Daya is a decentralized oracle. Decentralized oracles are needed as the altcoin space and DeFi space matures. Something like Daya could really benefit in the long term. So let's kind of assume this is the top of the cup, and this right here is the bottom of that wick there, and let's assume that this is the breakout point. Could Daya get well above $3, $3.10? If we break out bullishly, I think that is possible. But it is contingent upon Daya getting above $2. If Daya cannot get above and close above $2, then it's not interesting in my opinion. Daya, because there's no guarantee that we will ever get above $2. But if we can start to get above it and close above $2 and kind of get over $2.10, as we see, there's a little spike in volume up until $2.10. Really, $2.10 and above these wicks. Guys, as soon as we get above $2, I think it's likelier that we tackle 210. If we get above 210, I think it's therefore even more likelier that we can tackle $2.35. If Dai can get above $2.35, I think $3 is extremely reasonable and extremely realistic for Daya. So this is a potential cup and handle forming here. We need to keep an eye out for this thing in the next few hours and days. If Daya can get above $2, that looks very, very interesting for myself, either as a swing trade or even a longer term investment. All of these kind of like for a few weeks, about a month time horizon in terms of a swing trade. That's kind of what I have in mind as well, guys. Crypto.com, another coin that could be very interesting, either swing trade or long term hold. Why? Because a lot of these coins I'm talking about haven't really had these crazy parabolic run-ups quite yet, and could possibly have some in the future. So with Crypto.com, I've identified what I believe to be an extremely critical resistance level, which is basically from 7 cents to, I mean, understand, from 6 to 7 cents. If Crypto.com can get above 7 cents, we can see 7 cents is very price reactive with this peak here, kind of these areas here as well, and these areas here as well. 7 cents is very price reactive for Crypto.com, and we seem to kind of be kind of rounding out a bit here, making higher lows. So this is looking, potentially very interesting. We're starting to see higher lows instead of constantly lower lows. All of a sudden, we're starting to see higher lows. So there's the potential that we could see continuation. This seems like the potential beginning stages of a bullish breakout. I mean, we're even forming kind of a descending triangle here kind of situation. But ultimately, I really think the most important thing we need to look out for is 7 cents. If you could see Crypto.com Crow start to hold and close above 7 cents for a couple days, that would look extremely interesting in my opinion. As a swing trade or a long-term hold. For those of you who don't know, Crow is Crypto.com's coin. So I think as more people flood into the space, more people are going to use Crypto.com, more people therefore could use Crow. So very interesting potential swing trade, very interesting potential long-term hold. Guys, these coins are going to be coins that you can be early on. Moving on to Band. Band Protocol, another decentralized oracle. And the reason why I think Band Protocol is so incredibly interesting is because of this. It looks like an earlier version of Chainlink, folks. Chainlink was in this massive macro descending triangle, then broke up bullishly. Band seems to be forming a very similar pattern, but still within the descending triangle. So one could either wait to see if and when we break out. If and when Band breaks out, I think it has a good chance of doing something similar to Chainlink, where we absolutely exploded. So instead of like trying to guesstimate, every single movement within this thing, if you want, either as a swing trade or as a long term investment, you can just wait out to see if and when Band can break above this ascending triangle. I think if and when it does, I think it can do something very similar to Chainlink here, where after it broke out, Chainlink pumped, what is this, 70%. Could Band Protocol do something very similar? I do think that is definitely possible. So wait out, folks, to see if Band breaks out. You could either try and accumulate now, dollar cost average, or even just wait out for the breakout if and when it does happen. That's probably what I would do, especially if I was looking like in terms of a swing trade. I would maybe just wait until we break out, because who knows if we break out tomorrow, next week, next month, 2 months. We don't really know. So you could always just wait for the breakout point to be safe. That's the safest way you could do it. As well, just to kind of, before I leave off with Band here, we are kind of in more of this micro wedge, and whatever way we break out of this more micro wedge will be very telling for direction for Band. So that's something else to consider as well. Moving on, BAT, basic attention token. Guys, basic attention token BAT here is forming a very, very macro wedge, and I've identified a very important range of resistance that if BAT can get above, I think it's going to retest this red line here. And as soon as we see basic attention token BAT get above and start to close above this red line, I think it could really, really, really fly. So, and you could even wait out to see if and when Band breaks above this very macro wedge, because if it does, I think, let's take a very conservative place. Let's take the lowest point of the wedge. Could basic attention token reach 80 cents if we break out bullishly out of this very macro wedge? I think we definitely could. I think we could. And I think one thing that could point towards such a situation, such a macro breakup being more likely, is if we can get above this range. Really, 36.5 cents. Really, I'd say 36.5 to 34 cents is kind of a critical resistance level for basic attention token. We can see there's a spike in volume here, so this area here is going to act as a resistance. If we can start to get above that, a bullish breakout starts to look very, very interesting and very, very possible. Now, moving on to my fifth choice, guys, I kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a riskier play, a little bit of a play that, if it works out, could have potentially, it has a potential good ROI, return on investment potential. And the reason why I say this is a riskier play is because this is a low cap, a very low cap. In fact, this one has a let's see here, it's and I had this pulled up. I don't know why it took me away, but anyways, this one has a market cap of 14 million. So this one is definitely a low capper. It has a trading volume of 6.3 million, which is definitely good enough in my opinion. Like, when you see a very low trading volume in comparison to the market cap, that you never want to see that. But this is, roughly about half, just under half of the total market cap. This is liquid enough for its market cap. For me, I feel good enough seeing that trading volume to at least expose this idea to you guys. But guys, with this one and with all these picks, there's a lot of important caveats here. Okay. So just to briefly explain what this is, this aims, from what I can understand, RDN here seems to be a second layer scaling solution for Ethereum, which, hey, I'm invested in Matic Network. The second layer scaling solutions that can succeed can be very potentially bullish long term. And so I've identified kind of some key areas to look out for here, and let me just kind of really hash out and explain why this is so bullish. Because RDN here has been nothing but going down, constant lower highs and lower lows, constant lower highs and lower lows. It looks terrible. It looks like this has been given up for dead. But recently, we've been breaking above major resistance levels. Recently, we've been making higher lows. So this marks a shift in the trend. This is the first time since 2018 that we're breaking above key resistance levels, that we're making higher lows. So this is kind of forming, perhaps could be interpreted as more of a rounded bottom structure. So this is looking potentially very interesting. I've identified some key resistance levels that if we can get above, I think would be reasonable to assume that we could perhaps see bullish continuation. So really, I think the where RDN starts to look interesting, and only when I would start to look at RDN as a kind of a swing trade, you know, a few weeks, a month or so, is if you can get it above 25 cents for a few reasons here. If we look back at the line here, we can kind of see how 25 cents is pretty price reactive, how we peaked out here, resistance here, and yeah, we don't have to, but that's enough. That, like, look how price clearly reacted off 25. So 25, the 25 cent region is very important, very price reactive for RDN here. If we can get above that, that's when it would start to look interesting. That's when I would put it on my radar. And ultimately, if we can get above kind of 31 cents, 31.3 to 28 cents, if we can start to get above this region, that's when it starts to look very interesting. Because we can see here, there's kind of a spike in volume here. So I could anticipate some potential resistance throughout these areas. But if RDN could start to close above 31.32, as soon as you see RDN at 32, that's when this would look extremely interesting as a swing trade. Because RDN at 32 cents, I think is reasonable to assume that it could see bullish continuation, because at that point we're breaking above key resistance levels and we're making higher lows, and which marks a key reversal in the trend ever since 2018. So guys, this is a riskier play. Okay, I would wait to see. Personally, what I would do, considering a swing trade or as a long-term hold, I would wait on the sidelines to see if and when we get above these key resistance levels, and only if and when we get above these key resistance levels for all these cryptocurrencies, that's only when I would consider these coins as a swing trade, because we want to see confirmation of an uptrend, right? Like, we don't want to just FOMO into something at the slightest sign of potential. We want confirmation of a trend. We want confluence of reasons. The more reasons we have that point towards a certain direction, the more confidence we could be in our trade and price direction. So I would wait out to see if we can break above these key resistance levels that I've mentioned with all these different cryptocurrencies. Now, guys, before I wrap up this video, I kind of want to share with you guys one place that I've been using to do a lot of my cryptocurrency research. That's Tokenmetrics. We highly recommend Tokenmetrics. It is a AI-fueled price predictions and portfolio suggestions platform. They've recently done a refresh, just about 40 minutes ago, of the coins they think have a very good chance of doing well this month of February. And I saw Raiden Network here, Raiden Network token pop up a few times, and that's what tipped me off to it. I took a look at the charts, and I agreed. I did see some interesting things. Then I took a look. I kind of read up a little bit on it, what it was, the charts, the trading volume, and it was interesting enough that I thought I felt okay presenting the potential opportunity with this coin to you guys. So I say this. I bring this up to say that if you guys like the idea of AI fueled price predictions and portfolio suggestions platform, there's a link down in the description below where you guys can try Tokenmetrics for yourself. There's like a 7-week trial. It's like a paid trial. It's like $5-10. If not, I think it's like I'm honestly, I honestly forget what the monthly pricing is. But guys, check it out. They do price predictions, portfolio suggestions. It's a very interesting platform. Guys, I wouldn't say Tokenmetrics is the end-all be-all, but it's another helpful data point that if you can spare the money, I think is worth at the very least your consideration. So link for that will be down in the description below. Guys, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that bell to be notified of new uploads. We really appreciate all of you who help us out by hitting the like button. It helps out the algorithm, and you guys get to stay up to date with all these important, critical, time-sensitive technical analysis. So, guys, now before I wrap up, I just want to mention a few things. We also need to keep in mind the macro cryptocurrency situation. Bitcoin leads the market, Ethereum leads the altcoins. If Bitcoin and Ethereum decide to swan dive into nothingness and just tank and completely crash tomorrow, that is definitely going to have a negative effect on all these altcoins I've mentioned. So, bullish continuation of these trends is all contingent upon the greater market as a whole. And another important thing that you guys can always keep an eye out for to get a sense of what the altcoin market can do is the Bitcoin dominance chart. Whenever Bitcoin dominance falls, altcoins typically benefit. Whenever it rises, altcoins typically suffer. And Bitcoin dominance is currently just consolidating sideways. So if we see a big move to the downside, that could be a factor that helps the altcoins, so like the ones we just mentioned, possibly see bullish continuation. As well, the dollar index is another very important chart to keep an eye out for. It has an effect on other currencies, including crypto. Whenever it rises, other currencies typically suffer. Whenever it falls, other currencies typically benefit. So if we start to see a rally with the dollar, that could be a factor that negatively affects crypto and the altcoins. So you might not want to be in a long position. Or if it starts to crash, that could be a factor, a thing to consider, another data point to consider that could help pump crypto. So, guys, these are some of the most important things you need to keep an eye out for to understand what the altcoins can do. These are 5 cryptocurrencies that I think look very interesting, have a lot of potential, and that I think you can still be early on. So, guys, like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that bell icon to be notified of new uploads. Check out our Discord. Link for that will be down in the description below. That's it for now, folks. Take care.